Hey, hope you're doing awesome. This is going to be a quick overview on how to create templates in Logic. This can be helpful in speeding up your workflow so you're not spending time, sending up effects sends and buses and spending the time that you could be writing or mixing. And I can show you some examples of some templates I've created. Let's take a look here. I've got a scoring template that I just created not too long ago. And setting this template up actually took, I think, a couple days figuring out the routing, or at least a day. It looks like I set up 2 tracks to calibrate my monitors in whatever mixing room I'm in or writing room, where I've got a test oscillator, and I've just reminded myself to set the speaker at -79. So I'm mixing or writing at the optimal SPL. I've got a dialogue stem, I've got an effects stem, temp stem for the temp score, and then I've created these track stacks where I can subcategorize my types of instruments for the purposes of bouncing stems. So if I create a string track, I put it in the string stem. And how that's helpful is when it comes time to bouncing stems for the dub stage, all I have to do is solo and all my vocals can go out, or all of my leads, or all my drums, etc. It just helps with organization. I've got my music master here that I can also automate if I want to do a little re-recording mixing. And then I've even got things bust out so I can print the stems as well. So this took quite a bit setting up. And so as you see, I can just hit new from template and start writing right away and start, setting things up. I've already got, an SSL compressor on each one of these buses or stems. And then I've got, effects sends in here, and that's already set up. So all this routing takes time, and if you do this ahead of time and save it as your template, it can speed things up. I also have a songwriting template that I've created. Let's see, song template. I've got a couple, I think. Let's see what my song template looks like. And the song template also has, very specific things to songwriting, like vocal sends and vocal effects and limiting and mastering, and the types of effects that would be used in a song, which are very different than that of a score. But a lot of times I write songs for scores. So it's just good to have this to help speed up the workflow. So let's take a look here. Okay, so as you can see, it's pretty deep. No, let's not do that right now. I've got a lead vocal set up with auto-tune and compressors and EQs and de-essers and CLA effects, and I've got my buses set up with delays that I already like and reverbs. I've got chorus, parallel vocal, all of these different doubles and chants and all sorts of things that I would use, and I wouldn't have to think about setting up all the routing. I've got something set up for an acoustic guitar, delay guitar. I've even got guitar rigs set up here, and a piano patch loaded, ready to go. And let's see here, I've got string, synth, bass, and then even my submaster. I've got a compressor and an EQ and all of this stuff. So all of this would take at least a couple hours to set up, and having this ready at your fingertips is great. So let me show you how to do this. So let's just do a new, like let's say you want to create your own template. So you'd go new. And you'd start with a blank slate. And let's say you're doing a songwriting template. Well, what you'd do is you'd start by, calling this a vocal. You could set up some of your effects. Let's just use some Logic things. We've got an EQ. We could set up compressor. We could set up de-esser. Maybe some things like a couple sends would be good. Usually about 3 is what I end up using. And then you don't have to decide what's going to be on these, but at least they're set up. And let's create a couple vocal tracks, right? Let's just do 3 for simplicity. And let's say you wanted to do, a guitar track. And you'd probably want to put an EQ and another compressor. And we could call this guitar. And let's say you could set up like a drum track, for temping out some drums. Let's get that set up here. Let's do a drum kit. So that's ready to go. We could do like a bass, guitar. Let's do, I love Trillion. And that's set up, called bass. And let's set up our bus track, or our submaster. So we can put some effects on there. I'm a big fan of the SSL, just because I know it really well. So we could put an SSL. I bought these and I don't even use most of them. Okay, I should get to know Waves more. SSL compressor. Could set this up, and we could do, we could set up a EQ, and we could do, let's just do like a limiter, like an L2. And this took a couple minutes, right? But see, now we've got our basic, we've got something to go on. We can even set the, you can set your input to whatever it should be. And now this is, just something to hit the ground running. And if we, I think I want to run these through my bus, and I'll explain why I do this. And if we take a look here, what I've done is I like routing these to a submaster. I treat my master, I put my master on the submaster, which is here. So I call this submaster, and I just always put it on bus 34. There's no rhyme or reason, it's just what I remember. So I route all of the tracks to bus 34, and I route all of the effects to bus 34. And again, bus 34 is my submaster with all my master effects. Let's move this over. And so this is where I have all my master effects. And that way, if I ride the master up and down, it's not going to affect the compressor level. And it just gives me a little bit more control. So there we have it. We've already got all of this stuff set up. You saw how much time that took. And now we'll save as template. Then you can call it, you know, I'll call this demo song. I'll call this tutorial template. Boom. And now, when you want to do a new project, you just do new from template. And there it is, tutorial template. And it should load right up with all of your different settings. So I hope that helps you guys. I hope that kind of gives you the concept of how you can customize your own workflow and really speed it up. Now there's a lot of times where I just like to start from scratch in Logic. I don't know why, it's just kind of fun and seems a little bit more creative. Re-looking at my scoring template, I'm going to use that a lot more. Well, I hope that was helpful to you. Try implementing it. Let me know how it works out for you. If you have any questions or you want me to cover more, go ahead and leave a comment below. And as always, feel free to like and subscribe, and have a great one wherever you are. All right, take care.